few weeks ago, I put a poll on my community tab asking you all what you want me to rank, and the winner was Metal Church by about 32%. I did that one already, so in second place at 30% was Avenged Sevenfold. This was actually one of my first rankings I ever did on this channel, and it's time for an update, especially since it's been about 3 weeks since they released Life is But a Dream, an album that I reviewed and I was not very enthusiastic about, but we're going to see whether or not this album has kind of changed for me. Maybe do I like it a little more than I did before? We'll find that out in this video. So I have 8 studio albums, so it shouldn't take a long time, and let's get right into it. Coming in at number 8 is Hail to the King. This is their 6th album, released on August 23rd, 2013 through Warner Brothers and produced by Mike Elizondo. First album without any contribution from the Rev. This was a successful album, but you're wondering why is it coming in last? It's not that bad. It's just, I like some of the songs, but on this album, a lot of songs were very derivative of like other bands. So the most obvious one was This Means War. Kind of sounded a lot like Sad But True by Metallica. They were going for more of a stripped down approach, so I think this might be a good album if you're a newcomer to kind of get an idea like what the band sounds like. There were 2 rock radio singles, Shepherd of Fire and Hail to the King. I still think those are very good songs. I like those. Another good song is Heretic. Really great guitar riff in that one. And Crimson Days, a typical power ballad. It's not too bad, but they've had other songs that were better. Coming Home, that one sounds like a lot like modern day Iron Maiden, that slow building bass guitar intro. Doing Time, that one has an intro, it sounds a lot like that song Machine Head by the band Bush. Otherwise, rest of the songs not very memorable. I think like this band is known for having like lots of like heavy riffs and melodic lead guitar playing. I think this was lacking on most of the songs, so I don't hate this album. I think it's pretty good. It's okay. You know, I listen to it from time to time, but it's just something has to come in the bottom, and it's my least favorite. At number 7 is Sounding the Seventh Trumpet from 2001, released on July 24th, 2001. First album, and I felt they were not really sure what they wanted to be at this time. It's one of their 2 like straightforward metalcore albums. The album was released through Good Life Records, produced by the band Avenged Sevenfold and Donnell Cameron. So the album title, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, is a reference from the book of Revelation in the Bible. So the production on this is very raw. They only had a $2,000 budget for this, and it got mixed reviews. So for example, like AllMusic gave it a 3 out of 5, and Kerrang gave it a 1 out of 5. But I actually like this album. It has its moments. I know they've gotten better over the years. And this one is still, it's a decent album. I like it. It's one of the albums where like M Shadows does some harsh vocals along with his typical vocal style. There are some good songs. We have Turn the Other Way. This one has like this heavy machine gun metalcore style riffs. M Shadows does the harsh vocals. The Art of Subconscious Illusion. That one sounds a little bit more like punk rock, almost like Bad Religion, but mixed with metalcore. They have a piano ballad called The Warmest of the Soul. So even back with their debut album, they're still kind of willing to get a little experimental. I wouldn't call this M Shadow's best vocal performance, but I like Warmest of the Soul, and I think it's a pretty good song. And I also like the song Forgotten Faces. That one has some cool guitar riffs that were more on the like alternative metal side and some harsh vocals. But overall, not a perfect album, but I've always liked it. At number 6 is City of Evil from 2005. This is their 3rd album, released on June 6th, 2005. Released through Warner Records and Hopeless, produced by the band and Mudrock, or Andrew Murdoch. That's what the guy is called. And on this album, they changed their sound, moving away from metalcore and more towards other genres, ranging from like traditional metal to thrash or power metal, like their typical sounds, you know, as you know them. So M Shadows does some, he doesn't really do harsh vocals anymore, and he uses the vocal style we know from the rest of the albums. And it's an album that feels a little bit long. It's 73 minutes. They probably could have trimmed it down a bit, but this one also has some of the most well-known songs, such as Beast and the Harlot, There's Burn It Down. That one has some cool like power metal style guitar harmonies. And Back Country, that's another one that was big for them. It's a song that has a pretty cool, catchy chorus. And they have a ballad, Seize the Day, which is a good song. Not my favorite of their ballads, but I like it. Some of the songs are kind of long, like in the 7 to 9 minute range, like Sidewinder, The Wicked End, Strength of the World. There's a song towards the end called Betrayed I like a lot. I felt the guitar riffs have some cool, like neoclassical sounds. And the album ends with MIA. That's actually one of my favorites from the album. So it's a good album. Could have been trimmed down a little. Probably would have made it better, but I've heard people say they don't like this, but I think it's pretty good. At number 5 is Waking the Fallen from 2003. This is their second studio album, released on August 26, 2003. This is the first album with Sinister Gates on guitar and Johnny Christ on bass. It's their second metalcore album, and it's a big improvement over their first album, Sounding Seventh Trumpet. The album was released on Hopeless Records and produced by Mud Rock and Fred Archambault. If I have any complaints, again, it's an album that is kind of long. Like I said, with City of Evil, it's 68 minutes. But there's a lot of good songs here. So they have the song Chapter 4. This song is about Cain and Abel, and really lots of like frantic drumming, heavy metalcore riffs, and melodic lead guitar playing. And what makes the song unique is like the use of like both the harsh and the clean vocals layered over each other. So that's like one of the best songs. And then Unholy Confessions is one of the most popular songs and maybe one of my favorites. Has a really great guitar riff in that one. Then Second Heartbeat, the song mixes like the speed and aggression of metalcore with lots of melodies in the guitar playing. There's a 2-part song called I Won't See You Tonight, parts 1 and 2. The first is kind of like a power ballad, and then the second is very like frantic and heavy with the aggressive and brutal vocals and fast-paced drumming. Coming in at number 4 is Nightmare from 2010. It's the 5th album released on July 23rd, 2010 through Warner Brothers Records. This was produced by Mike Elizondo. He worked with a lot of different pop and rap artists in the 2000s. This was a very dark and emotional album. It's the first without Jimmy the Rev Sullivan after his death. The Rev actually recorded a few drum parts that were used on the album, and the rest of the drums were by Mike Portnoy. This is an album I like a lot. It's very dark, it's very heavy, but lots of great guitar riffs. The opening track, Nightmare, I really love the intro. Kind of reminds me of that like Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And then the song takes off. You got these like really great guitar riffs. Then Welcome to the Family, just another song. It's both very catchy, has cool guitar riffs, those like deep string bends, and I really like that. Buried Alive, it's a ballad with like some really great melodic lead guitar playing. One of my favorite guitar intros from the band actually. And Natural Born Killer, one of their heaviest songs. It's very fast paced and it's almost like a thrash metal type of song. And one of my favorite ballads called So Far Away, a tribute to the Rev. They also get a little experimental with the song Fiction. They kind of do that weird piano intro. I like the song a lot. I think it's kind of like foreshadowing of like what they would be doing on Life is But a Dream. And the final song, Save Me. Very long song at 11 minutes, but I really like it a lot. It has some really great guitar playing. The vocals are dark, the riffs are heavy. Overall, this is just a really good album. I've heard mixed reviews of this album, but I like it a lot, so that's why I have it here at number 4. And number 3 is Life is But a Dream from 2023. So I'm going to say this. I'm not afraid to admit I was wrong. I first reviewed this album. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I was not enthusiastic about it, but for some reason I went back to this one a lot and it grew on me. So released on June 2nd, 2023 through Warner Brothers, produced by the band and Joe Barresi. At first I thought it was just a very weird album, and I still think it's very weird, but there's something about it that makes it enjoyable to listen to. So we got the opener, Game Over. This is very like heavy, like a System of a Down type of song. Then Mattel, very strange. It's like avant-garde metal. It's very heavy, but I like it a lot. Nobody, the first single, I didn't like it at first, but I think it's one of my favorite songs on the album. Then the second single, We Love You. I also didn't like it that much when it came out, but I like it pretty much a lot more now. And Cosmic, that's like maybe my favorite song on the album. There's just so much going on in that song. Then there's the song Beautiful Morning, which is okay for me. Maybe one of the weaker ones. It kind of sounds like a lot like Alice in Chains, but it's good. Then Easier, another song that's pretty good. It's weird. And then the trilogy of G, Ordinary, and Death. I like all of those songs. And actually, I think I like the song Death. It's kind of like a Frank Sinatra type of song, but they do it very well. It's like so catchy. And the one song I don't like is that last song that much. I thought it was kind of boring. So I thought that brought the album down. Like, it kept it from being out of the number 2 or number 1 spot and kept it at number 3, but still at number 3, it's up very high. Proof that opinions can change, and I admit it again. I was wrong in my initial review, but that's just how things go. So I have it at number 3. At number 2 is The Stage from 2016, their 7th album, released on October 28, 2016, and through Capitol, produced by the band and Joe Barresi. First concept album, it's about artificial intelligence, something that's very prominent in today's age. So this album is like 7 years old, and it's something that's kind of like coming true. So this is a progressive metal album. It's an album that doesn't have a lot of radio hits, but I like to listen to this album like from start to finish. It's a very long album at 73 minutes, and I've been kind of complaining about album lengths throughout this review, and I've said albums like City of Evil and Waking the Fallen have been too long, but this one is long, but it kind of needs to be. It's a very like intelligent album. The lyrics talk about topics like nuclear war, simulation theory, space exploration, nanobots. I like when metal bands like write about this stuff. This is just something I'm interested in. The first single, The Stage, that's a really great song. I really love the music video. The song Goddamn, it's just a very heavy song, and they kind of move into like a thrash metal direction, that one. Then Sunny Disposition, that one has like these like different like brass instruments, like trumpets and horns, and it's kind of like they're doing like King Crimson mixed with heavy metal, so I like that one. Then different songs, you got some acoustic guitars. There's a song with a spoken word part by Neil deGrasse Tyson, so that song is like the longest song, called Exist. That's actually a great song. It's like 16 minutes long. It's one of those songs you just put on headphones, listen to it, sit back, relax, and just take it all in. Like I said, this album, you listen to it from start to finish. When I first did my ranking, I had this at number 1, but after listening to them all again, I decided to put like one more album ahead of it. So let's get into it. And at number 1, I have Avenged Sevenfold. This is their 4th album, released on October 30th, 2007. Released through Warner Brothers and Hopeless Records and produced by the band themselves. And the last album with the Rev before he passed away. So it was a very successful album for them. It had more of a straightforward heavy metal sound, and they have lots of different kinds of songs. So the album opens with Critical Acclaim. That one is great, like organ playing in the intro and a melodic lead guitar. That's probably one of the most popular songs, and kind of shows them getting a little experimental. Almost Easy, that's a melodic rocker with some heavy, almost like thrash metal guitar riffs. Scream, that one has more of like a 2000s nu metal sound with the typical guitar riffs. And Afterlife is a melodic rocker with like some symphonic elements. And you have Gunslinger, kind of like a bluesy Led Zeppelin style kind of song, but it goes into like heavy sleaze rock. And then the album ends with 2 of the most well-known songs, like A Little Piece of Heaven. That's a song with some very dark lyrics, but it's just a very like a theatrical and well-made song. And final song, Dear God, it's a country song. And they actually do country pretty well. I think I have this album ranked at number 1. It's just great start to finish, because the first half of the album, you have like these like radio hits, just like these are great songs. Then the second half, you get some like the deeper cuts, and then like the album closes with A Little Piece of Heaven and Dear God. So it's an album that's just like great all the way through, and that's why I have it at number 1. So that is all. Let me know in the comments what your ranking is. Please like this video. Helps me with the algorithm. Please subscribe. You can stay up to date on my new videos and comment. I'd like to respond to comments. Here's my original ranking. I did it like 3 years ago. I was kind of new to YouTube, so it's very, it's not really well made, and you could tell the difference in my camera presence in that one. But check it out anyway. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.